big topic for right now, for talk with the Robert, the book, or the publishing, or the masterpiece, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you have a title.
Book.
So, Robert, during our first meeting, I believe, a few months back, you mentioned that you've been actually working on the book, and you haven't been working. Come on, you wrote already a lot, and as I understood, there are like 2 positions, which is great. So tell me first of all, why did it happen? You actually a bit mentioned about that PowerPoint, but then tell me more about what is that, why should we actually see that book, when are we going maybe to publish, and what is the main idea of the book?
So, yeah, why I wrote it, I mentioned before, just collection of things, just to remember for myself, do-it-yourself things, and hey, there is a breakaway system. What the heck is that? You put the knots like this, and the shaft goes, and you keep the gun in your hand. So, wow, why you would use this? So, I started investigating about these things and many others many years ago, and just copy-pasted this into PowerPoint. Why? Word is horrible, text overflows, it's a mess. So, I was accumulating this since I actually started in 2012 roughly, and before a little bit, but really here I had more time. I was very close to the ocean every day, so I started accumulating this, and the book is like 2 parts. It's a spearfishing guide actually. I focus on different aspects. One is like gear, but it's not like this is a snorkel, that's how you use it. You know, it's a little bit more about the aspects of safety.
Deeper.
Yeah, it's not like this is a snorkel, we need a snorkel. No, there is snorkels that turn. Oh man, they annoy me so much. They turn and then you got the opening somewhere where you don't want it to have. So why these things turns, I don't know who designed it. So don't take me bad, but the book talks about gear. Actually, there are 2 books, each roughly 200 pages or plus even. All the book is not text, so it's not blah, 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 which I would never read myself. So it's really pictures. You know, we have got these GoPros on the head, filming stuff all the time. So I just took frames from that. And most of the pages, like 90%, maybe more, it's pictures. And a text that is overlaying the picture. And for example, the mask, you see the mask. And I explain the mask, for example, it's very important. The knife, people think knife is just to kill fish. No, it's a safety tool. You have to have a knife, all right? So if you go into the water without a knife, don't go into the water. Because if you are in risk and you need to cut a line or some entanglement, you can't do it, you will die. Unless you have a buddy that is your angel and saw you. But you know, sometimes we have murky water, so. Yeah, I'm talking about spare guns, you know, standard spare guns, roller guns, inverted guns, fusion guns, you name them, materials, which guns you can use. And by the way, I'm mentioning guns now, but it's not the number 1 thing. So if somebody would ask me, and all this is described in the book, yeah, what would I look at first? Actually, my body. I'm there, now we have, I don't know, maybe 22 degrees water. For me, I like it warm. I hate 22 degrees. The guys in Norway must laugh now. But it's cold, so wetsuit. Protects your body, retains heat, makes you relax. If you are relaxed, you can dive properly, the breath hold is nice, it's safer, blah, 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 etc. So myself, get a good wetsuit, man. Yeah? Not the fanciest gun, no. The gun will not give you success. Your body will give it, your state of mind, being relaxed, fish will approach you, you're relaxed. There is a chain of things that will happen. So I describe different wetsuit types, materials, inside lining, don't do it. Outside lining, inside open neoprene, yeah, that's the way to go. And there is even sandwich type of wetsuit. So it's really from the ABC stuff, mask, snorkel, fins. Fins, plastic fins, super nice. I use them still today a lot. Carbon fiber if you want to do something more extraordinarily athletic, or if you're in the water for 6-7 hours, they're more comfortable. So it's a lot about gear and how to use it. So even a line winder, we see it here, that connects basically your flow to the spear gun. How to use it, which knots to make it safe, make it simple. Don't overdo with gears. Don't have a weight belt with like 10 items on it. You don't need 10 items, it will make you crazy. You will entangle everywhere. You shoot thing, after shooting what you do if you use a real gun, throw it back. It should not be in front of you, and you're doing this with your line, you will get entangled, it's dangerous. With a small fish, okay, nothing happens, besides that you will have a knot, that is an ugly knot, and a mess with entanglement, but if you have a big fish, It's about safety. Put the gun behind you. Let it float. It should float without a shaft, by the way. So the line is there. The current is there. If you can, position yourself this way. So you put the line behind you. Watch that you don't get entangled in the fence, you know. The fish gets a run, it cannot pull you down. This is for bigger fish, of course. Yeah? So I explain a lot of these things, but also what is a duck dive, the phases of a dive. So you need to prepare the dive, of course, breathing, la la la. Then you make the duck dive. If it's clean, you go down so easily. You need little weight, don't overweight, it's dangerous. Then you're down, let's say you arrived, how you do. Vertical, don't do these things unless you're exploring. That's the scouting or exploration kind of dive. But go down to the spot. If possible, plan your dives. Go to a spot and know what you want to do. Not always possible, but for example, if I go for red snapper, let's say I saw them from the top, Moon Island, Sirbonaire, then I'm like, they are on this corner. Then probably I will not go on straight to them. Then I would go down to place. Of course, some breath hold is needed for that. And just do this advancing technique where with one hand you grab the stone, don't use the fins, and just you grab yourself closer to the place, be silent, or make some noises. Sometimes it's the other way. So I explain about these hunting techniques as well, and safety, and how to dive on wrecks, for example. A lot of people are on wrecks and it's a lot of currents. I personally don't like to dive on wrecks if there is current, especially when it's murky. But if you do so, mark the front and the back of the ship. I'm not going to terms of sailing. Most people will not understand. So put a buoy, a float actually. Okay, mark it with a small buoy or float. And then when the current is coming, you know when you need to do the duck dive. If you do it on the surface, because of the current, you will end up doing diagonal. Right, buddy?
That's a live TV. We actually hired some people. So
yeah, this is to get some action into this. So yeah, things like this. I can go and on because I'm really passionate about all this stuff. But just as a summary, gear is very important. Get the right gear. Does not mean it's the most fancy, expensive gear. I'm not saying this at all. Brands, look around me. I'm surrounded by any kind of brands. I have some preferences for some items from some brands for a very good reason, because you know they engineered it good, the material is good, it did not break, so it's reliable. But yeah, there is too many topics. So it's 2 parts. I'm learning now how to release a book and publish. I have no idea about this. So I started to learn about Kindle, Amazon, all these things. And yeah, I spent a lot of time in the water. That's why I never published. But it's done. It's 99% done really. Just to go over it one day and just publish it. So if possible this year, I would love to do this.
That sounds quite interesting as a book. The content, you don't have to tell exactly what is there, but you mentioned, so probably it's like a tip of the iceberg, you know, deeper and deeper and deeper. But for me, just a suggestion just came right now to my mind that I can suggest maybe, or maybe already have this as an idea, I would do something which is called an interactive book. So meaning book is the book, website is the website, but let's say you put some QR codes that people they can scan and access some specific actually content, whatever that is. Like I mentioned before, you have a very nice actually YouTube page as well. So that would be maybe something to develop, and hopefully I wish you that your book maybe is like a textbook for some of the famous SPEARO courses in the future. Yeah, that would be hopefully a good idea.
People ask me, how much you will price this book? Say, I don't know, man. I'm not doing this because of money, really, not. It's a collection of for myself. Then I started to develop it. I have this tick for perfection in some things I do, not in everything, but in some things I do in life. So spearfishing is one. And so it started to be super nice. And some people told me, why you don't publish it? Well, actually, I spent too much time here, so I don't know even how to publish. But, you know, I tell you something. The pictures we have been capturing all these years that are in this book. So, by the way, it's like 16:9 format. So you can read it very nicely, like if you're watching on your PC, on your laptop, on your smartphone, whatever. So it's fun to read. I did not put this on purpose because I have all the footage in this format anyway. Mm-hmm. So I thought like, no, it's cool. So I talk about some topic and you see pictures of barracudas. I talk about fiber blades, or I don't know, these carbon blades. So obviously there is a picture of this thing explaining it's a hook pocket, the rails, you can detach this thing, there is the blade, you know, the carbon blades are for this and that, and the plastic fins are this and that. There is a lot of pictures. And I like to paint and draw things sometimes. I'm not a great painter, I'm not Picasso. But I love to do this, so I have some graphics also. So the one I mentioned, sketches, yes. I took some free of charge PNG and vector files and I put them into a slide and overlapped and so you can see how you duck dive, how you make aspetto, aguato, all these techniques. There are different ways to connect a spare gun to a float, for example. The most simple way to use it is spare gun. Don't buy a reel, float line, 4mm PE line is super. Connect it to a float, the cheapest one is fine. Start doing your thing. Or you use a reel gun, meaning you have a reel attached to the body of the gun. So you shoot a fish and you've got this line for reeling in. And the third one roughly would be breakaway. So you shoot something and the fish takes the complete line, you keep your gun with you, which is nice to fend off some sharks and stuff if you're in sharky water. So there is a lot of graphics in it, and to be honest, as I made it for myself at the beginning, I made it very illustrative that I watch it, that's it. I don't have to read like half an hour for one topic. I'm too lazy for doing this. I hate doing these things. So I like something that is quick. You get information, voila, you go. All right, so that's why I did these 2 books, because it started accumulating so much, and then I thought like, wait a minute, what's the difference between all this mass of files? Because the file was getting so big, it was ugly to open it. Huh. So I said, okay, let's keep it on gear. And why this gear? Because there is some usage and advantages by having this gear. By the other part that is more like, where do I fish? Where do I find fish?
Skills.
Yes, how do I shoot a fish? Yeah, so there is a logical sequence. You dive, blah, 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 then you see the fish, okay, you shoot, cool. You got him. Yeah, you did not get him, you hit him. How you retrieve him? Do this underwater. If there is structure, pulling away. If not, leave him. If it's open sand, why not? You have a reel, so your safety first, go up and breathe. So once you're on the surface, retrieve the fish. Okay, this line thing I said before, don't entangle into your line. That's why it's nice to have float lines actually. The wind takes the float away, it's super nice. And then you've got this, let's say barracuda. This thing can bite you. Now, these yellowfin we have here are very nice and kind animals, but grab the line, grab the shaft, provided the shaft is still in the animal and it did not fly through it, and slide your hand along the shaft towards the fish, so the flopper is retaining the fish and your hand as well, and the fish is like in the middle, and then it can't turn, which leads to the next point. If you shoot too far, it could turn. So there is points where you should shoot fish. Some people find it funny to see sparrows shooting fish in the tail. No, there is a reason why sometimes you shoot fish in the tail. I explained, for example, on the kingfish, which is the Spanish mackerel in our waters. Not like in New Zealand, kingfish is something different. But in our waters, there is the Spanish mackerel. I personally love to shoot them exactly between the dorsal fin and the anal fin, in the middle. Try to hit the spine. Immobilizes a lot of meat, tissues there. It will not rip off. You will not lose this wonderful, nice fish and wound it for nothing. It's also a respectful shot. And then you can see how you do it. If you shoot a fish like this, if it's a strong fish, amberjack for example, it's a very strong fish, it might bend your shaft, right? But imagine you shoot it like from a 45 angle. Then it's more gentle for the shaft. But then there is like these 2 kind of shafts. Okay, there is like the stainless steel shaft. Might bend easier than this carbon spring steel shafts like Spearmaster, Rob Allen, all these guys, they use this. So I share a lot of information there and tips and when to use floats and some safety from people. One chapter I would love to develop, but I don't have time, is science. Develop something like science, second shot, go down, shark, these kinds of things exist partially.
The hands,
yeah, gestures, so science, yeah. Typically big fish. You don't know maybe the shot was good or not. Put it at second. Just be respectful to the fish. So, yeah, it's too many topics. I better stop now. If you enjoy it, go for it.
Robert, that's actually a good chunk of information. So I would love actually to see that book. And yeah, guys, I think we have to help him definitely to publish it, and more important, to actually accept it. And don't do the piracy in terms of actually sending files. I think that this is a very bad and painful thing. The guy, he was probably working his entire life, let's say 25 years, to gather information, and then the book is there. So yeah, be respectful for the community. If he's going to publish it in any kind of electronic way, yeah, just respect. Probably he's not going to put too much of price, yeah, not 100 dirhams, okay, good. Then we have a big spectrum of the price, but try actually to really support, and then I bet you will not waste your money, by buying this amazing position and book. Talking about books, always people, they ask authors of books, so maybe you were supported. There are always these questions: who gave you the idea about writing the book? This is one thing, but for me, more important actually are people, and the suggesting of people actually who are nice people, who are good spearos, who are actually worth to see and know about them. So the question maybe would go towards, like today we have this amazing interview, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you so much for your time. So what would you say? Do you have any nominations for any of your friends or people that you heard of, or do you think that would be a good idea actually to invite them for such kind of the interview? Like, we're just trying to get into that interest of people to do more interviews, but that's why I took also you as a very strong and important person in this community. So think for a second, and then what would you say? That might be any number of people as well. If you can think maybe about 3 people, and guys, he's definitely thinking about all of you, but we're talking before, it's not on the tape. We're talking about that everybody has some specialities, or slightly is different, or has different approach to spearing, or it's unique. Like we didn't mention, Robert is quite experienced, but also he's into the book, and then there are many things ahead for that. So who would you recommend to attend the
I repeat quickly one sentence that we said before. It's like creating community. So who I nominate, it's not even important who I nominate, I mean who I am, to nominate people, but it will encourage people to do this more and more. The more we do this, hey, this guy was there, yes, I would like also to contribute, or maybe meet this guy. Andrew, can you help me to get a contact to this person, provided they want to be contacted, but we want to be contacted, of course, we like to share. So who to nominate, it's really a tough question, because I'm really very thankful to being here, and a lot of people here is very nice people, very good people, very skilled people, and they love to share. They're really wonderful guys here. This in a way internationally, because this spearfishing community, it's like, not like in other sports, there is like too much competition. There is some competition, the northern guys with the southern, the eastern with the western, you will always have this, and we laugh about this. Yeah? They say, this shitty small fish you got. You say, yeah, but come on, there is no much fish here, it's different. But I have names in my head, like, I hope they are okay that I name them. For example, Dieter. Dieter is a South African spearo. I don't see him like every week, but I had the chance to dive with him a couple of dives, and he's a really cool guy, very humble. You will not find pictures of him online too much, he doesn't care about it. And he can dive down to, I don't know where is his limit, to be honest. This guy goes down and appears half an hour later with like 2 guns in his hand and fish. So I would nominate Dieter. He's a very special guy, really cool guy, and very humble. I like these people, they don't show off too much, Then Sid Ahmed. Sid is a very cool guy. He's transformed his body into a machine now. He's very, very strong diver. If I remember, he's Moroccan champion in freediving. He goes down to 60 meters, so very respectable person. You mentioned before Brian Luck, a South African spearo. He's a crazy man. I love this guy, really good. He goes deep. He's used to spear in the most ugly conditions. He feels comfortable in any place, depth, color, scenario. He doesn't care, I mean, he cares, but he's really good. I would nominate probably my friend Majid that I mentioned before. Why him? Besides, he's a cool guy, really, a very nice guy. All his family, actually, it's a beautiful family. Because he is like, he should be like considered a beginner, but he's not. And that's what makes him special. And he's got a brain, his IQ must be like double than mine. He memorizes all stuff that he reads, and he reads a lot. We talk about things that sometimes like, wow, this guy knows so many things. And this, I would like to nominate him for the reason that he's a motivator for all these young guys, you know, or all the older guys that kept their skills in a certain level. And I mean this very respectfully. Yeah? If you're not together with certain people, then you're not blessed to grow. Yeah, I'm really blessed because I always met like these cool people. Khaled, who's diving with Dieter and Sid also, very nice guy. And they took me to places which I'm very thankful. And also I did in other countries the same. I met cool guys, and that's why I'm knowing things and I was able to see things that I saw. If I would stay just here with my body, don't mean it like disrespectfully, but then my horizon is this. I can't grow. So creating community, that probably is my bottom line. Yeah, push this. Do interviews, nominate more people. I have people, Khalifa in Abu Dhabi. This guy, his main skill probably would be, how does this guy know where is the fish? He knows. Robert, go there is Hamur, this is the grouper. Hey, there you will find like yep, this is like the yellow spotted trevally, the bigger one, not the orange spotted. Robert, go there might be, I don't know, red snappers. This guy has like a fish map, so it's amazing. I stop here because, and sorry for all my other buddies that I did not mention, but I can't mention them, you know. It's too many nice people, and maybe one day I drop your list and you just go through them. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea is basically to have good fun and spend good time. So that's important. So I bet, as you mentioned, also in the shops, in local shops, you can always go and chat with people, and then that's a real interview.
At the end, guys, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it's the first time I do something like this. I'm a very shy guy, actually, in terms of media and things. My Instagram, you probably see me only with shades, and probably you see only fish, because actually it's about fish, not about myself. The same with the YouTube videos. I film some fish. YouTube videos are okay, but I don't put that much effort into it because I prefer to be in the ocean. So, yeah, create community. Andrew, many thanks for this time to share a little bit what this humble guy has to share with community. And guys, keep it going, go to a course, go spearfishing, be ethical, don't shoot small fish, enjoy it. Be safe. Take care, brothers. Let's make an example. You got a gun, you just bought it, you're happy, regardless of the brand, or look at the brand.
Roberto!
Hey, Khaled.
Oh!